Okay, blessed Sunday. Today, I wanted to do a very short and precise video on PCOS and insulin resistance that can affect young ladies and also people who have diabetes. You either have insulin resistance, you either have insulin sensitivity, or you have insulin deficiency. Yeah? But lots of young ladies do have insulin resistance or PCOS, which can cause troubles with fertility. But it is coming from insulin resistance. So what do the doctor do for a young lady who have PCOS? He gives them either a birth control pill or he gives them a drug called metformin, which they give for diabetes, because he do not know how to repair PCOS. Yeah? But now I'm going to teach the women, young ladies, how you can prevent it. Excuse me. And if you do have it, you can repair it. And we're going to talk about diabetic retinopathy on our next video. And we're going to talk today about diabetic neuropathy, troubles in the nerves. But we're going to focus today on insulin resistance that affects some diabetics and also young ladies, causing them to be infertile or causing them to have beard, causing them to grow what they call men hormones. Yeah? Wonderful. Okay. Now, it's me alone, so I'm just, bear with me, okay? Wonderful. Insulin resistance, diabetes, and PCOS is called polycystic ovarian syndrome. What is PCOS? And lots of doctors will tell you that it is caused from insulin resistance. Yeah. But we will tell you now that PCOS is a condition when you, the young lady, body produces more insulin, and once the body produces too much insulin, it disrupts the function of you, the young lady's ovaries. See? So it disrupts the function of your ovaries, normalizing your progesterone, and automatically you start to have troubles with PCOS. We're going to tell you where it's coming from. Right? So we know for a fact that PCOS is when you, the woman body, produces more insulin, which can disrupt the function of your ovaries. All right, let's go. Next one. 2. Insulin resistance and diabetes. We're going to talk about that in a little while and go into detail and show you why you get insulin resistance when you have diabetes. Yeah? Talk too fast. But let's go to the pituitary gland first. The pituitary gland, that gland covers and balances the entire glandular system. That gland called the pituitary, it controls the thymus gland, the thyroid gland. It controls the adrenals. It controls the ovaries. It controls the pancreas. And it also controls the kidney too. Yeah? And the thyroid gland. So the pituitary gland feeds off the hypothalamus gland. That signal from the hypothalamus gland must be received by the pituitary in order for the pituitary to function better and balance the other glands. So the pituitary gland covers and balances the entire glandular system. The posterior part of the gland we're going to talk about now. So there are 3 parts of the pituitary. There is the frontal part of the pituitary, there is the posterior part, and then the intermediate part of the pituitary gland. Let's go to the posterior part of the gland. Now, the posterior part of the pituitary gland deals with muscle contraction in the pressure of the movement of the blood in terms of circulation. Yeah, that's the posterior part of the gland. Don't forget, the posterior part of the pituitary gland deals with muscle contraction in the pressure of the blood movement, meaning that move the blood circulation. That's the posterior part of the pituitary gland. The posterior part of the pituitary gland also deals with color pigment of the skin. So the posterior part of that particular gland deals with muscle contraction and the pressure of the blood movement, but it also deals with the color and the pigmentation of the skin. The pituitary gland also controls and influences kidney function. By doing what, Mr. Delves? By regulating the water through that particular organ called the kidney, because the kidney is called the water organ in Chinese medicine. Then you have the intermediate part of the pituitary gland. And that part of the gland also restrains the influence on kidney function. So lots of children who have troubles wetting the bed, we have to go to the intermediate part of the pituitary gland. Because lots of children who eat lots of starches, refined sugars, it disrupts the function of that part of the gland called the intermediate part of the pituitary gland, and it causes the children to have to wet the bed. You remove all these carbohydrates from the child's diet, and the intermediate part of the pituitary works better. Your child stops wetting the bed. Yeah? The front part of the pituitary gland deals with growth of the body, and it also deals with the reproductive functions in both men and women. The front part of the pituitary. The frontal part of the pituitary produces hormones. And what the hormones do is they generate and they also stimulate the sex organs in men, and they also stimulate the sex organ in women. Yeah, the front part of the pituitary. Don't forget, the front part of the pituitary, the intermediate part of the pituitary deals with restraint, influence on kidney function, and the posterior part of the pituitary deals with what? With muscle contraction, the pressure of the blood movement, in terms of circulation. And the front part of the pituitary deals with growth of the body, reproductive functions, and the hormones that it generates that can stimulate our sex organs. That's what the pituitary do. Now the hormones, that's some of them, I'm going to mention some of them. There's a lot of them that the pituitary produces. But some of the hormones is what? LH, luteinizing hormone. The next hormone that the pituitary produces is FSH, follicle stimulating hormone. The next hormone that the pituitary gland produces is growth hormone. And that's dealing with the front part of the pituitary. Yeah, that deals with growth. And then you have the prolactin levels that also is produced by the pituitary that deals with milk production. And you have the TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, that the pituitary produces and feeds the thyroid gland. And then you have the oxytocin, a hormone that is produced by the pituitary, which deals with a woman's uterine contraction. Yeah? All right, so we know what they are, right? Now, insulin resistance can cause the ovaries to produce excessive amount of androgen, called men hormones, while causing follicles on the ovaries. And that's the reason why they give you metformin, or they give you birth control pills. Because when you have insulin resistance as a woman, you can get PCOS. But the insulin resistance can cause the hormones, the ovaries, to produce excessive amount of men hormones called androgens, while causing follicles to grow on the ovaries. Let's go now. How do we fix that? Okay. Let me tell you where you're getting insulin resistance. Now, the endocrine part of the pancreas produces what? Insulin. And the exocrine part of the pancreas produces enzymes. Also, the pancreas produces sodium bicarbonate to send into the small intestines so that you can change the pH in the ileum of the small intestines from 6.5 to 7.5 alkaline. So when you have SIBO, small intestine overgrowth, or you have duodenum ulcers, it's because that same pancreas is not producing sodium bicarbonate to change that ileum pH in the small intestine. You get all these troubles down there. But insulin resistance now. Remember, we just said a while ago that insulin is a hormone, and all hormones have a receptor to receive that message from that hormone. No doctors could doubt that either. So when insulin come in, he's like a god. He's coming into your cells just to give your cells sugars, glucose, so that your cell can produce energy. Am I lying, nurses and doctors? Now, in the morning, you eat lots of sugars. Insulin goes into the cells. The cell receives the sugars. Yeah? You go back again by 11 o'clock, and you bombard the cells again with more sugars. Again. Cells say, okay, I'm going to accept it now. Okay? You come back again 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock again, you give the cells more sugars. He said, oh, hold on, man. He said, hold on, insulin. You are putting too much sugars in media receptors now. Yeah? You're bombarding me with all these sugars. And they are refined. They are bread, which is what we call white bread is 70 glycemic index, whole wheat is 69. All these sugars. Sweet tea, we call it all these refined sugar, carbohydrates. And you feed them these sugars. And because these sugars take long to break down, you know what I'm saying? The insulin comes in and you say, oh, here are more sugars again. And then your cells say, oh man, insulin, I'm taking too much sugars now. It's just like if you go to a dance, and in that hall, you're supposed to only have 1,000 people, maximum. But you want to put 1,200 people in that hall, what's going to happen? People are going to sweat up. They're going to get all sweaty and be too much people in there. It's the same exact principle in the cells. You put in too much sugar in the cells. So when the cells come in, when the sugar come in, the cells say to insulin, you give me lots of sugar this morning at 7 o'clock. You come again, you give me lots again at 10 o'clock. You give me lots again at 12 o'clock. And you come back again at 2 o'clock and give me lots of sugars again. I can't handle all these sugars in insulin. So what he does, insulin, the sugars start bombarded in your system, and in the process, you start getting troubles in your kidney long term because the sugar starts spilling into the bloodstream. And then the insulin now said, you know what? Because the receptor, is not receiving the excessive amount of sugar that I'm trying to put into you, I am going to spill that sugar into the bloodstream. And that's where you start getting troubles in your heart, because now the sugars end up in your kidney. It starts damaging the kidney, and then automatically, because you bombard that cell with so much sugars, the receptors now start to get problems too. And what happened to you as a woman? You're overweight, number one, obese, yeah, or you have it in your genes, genetics, predisposition, yeah. And then you, the woman, now eating all these foods, all these refined carbohydrates. You're bombarding your cells with all these sugars. You don't burn it up because sugar goes up and out, and sugar is found in the brain. You got to burn it up. See? And that's the reason why when you don't have enough sugar in your brain, what happens to you? You pass out. Yeah. Horizontal, because the body's trying to put back sugar in your brain. Follow me now. Yeah? That's what happened to you. So as a woman, you have all this sugars into the cell, and because the cell is so bombarded with all this sugar, he starts to resist that insulin from putting more sugars in the cell. Can't get in. He said, no, man, I'm tired of you, man. Too much sugar coming in, man. Insulin resistance. PCOS. You, the woman, start producing lots of androgens. Men hormones. Start to get beard. Yeah? So they get follicles on the ovaries. And they give you birth control pills, or they give you what? Metformin. Secondly, when you have a fatty liver, because the liver have to produce bile salts to turn your fats into droplets. Am I lying, nurses and doctors? If that don't happen, and because the gallbladder have to emulsify your fats, if you have a gallbladder, even worse too. Once that happens, the fats remain so big that the fats start blocking the receptors. See? And that's when you're overweight too. When you're obese, you get insulin resistance too because of the fats. Fats are blocking the receptors. Once the fat block the receptors, insulin comes in and you say, You say, well, see, you can't get in. Why you can't get in? Because too much fats, cholesterol start blocking the receptors. See? So when you have insulin resistance and you have diabetes, the doctors give you what? More insulin. Because he's thinking that that you are deficient. You are producing the insulin, but your cells is not utilizing the insulin properly because too much sugars is in that cell. He can't take no more. You see, that's why you're getting diabetes. That's why you're losing your kidney. That's why you're getting high blood pressure. That's why you're getting heart disease. Because too much insulin can cause your arteries to become very hard and cause you to get trouble in your heart. Because the doctor, give you more insulin because he thinks you're deficient, but you're insulin resistant. You're producing it, but your beta cells themselves are not utilizing it properly. So he give you more insulin, you shoot in more Humalog, more Lantus. And then automatically give you a double whammy, and then automatically your artery becomes so hard from too much insulin that damage your kidney too and damage your heart disease, heart troubles, high blood pressure. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. We gotta fix these things. So when we're gonna fix insulin resistance, as from a woman who has PCOS, we go to the brain, the pituitary gland, and we normalize the function of the pituitary gland. We go to the what? We go to the endocrine system, endocrine and nerve. We go to the endocrine glands. And then we go and we remove all the excessive amount of bad fats, toxins. They detoxify all the fats, move out all the garbage from the intestines. Yeah? That's how we repair PCOS. And then we go to the brain, to the pituitary, and we go to the brain with a product called Woman Balance. Woman Balance. And then the Woman Balance have Vitex or Chastry. And what it does, it balances back the pituitary, and it helps the pituitary to normalize you, the woman, luteinizing hormone, follicle stimulating hormone, and in turn your estrogen and progesterone is balanced, and your ovaries start to remove all the follicles that is on the ovaries, because now you're repairing your PCOS, because you're going not only to the pancreas, you're going to the pituitary gland in your brain. You're going to the thyroid gland. You're going to the endocrine glands, because they all work together. That's how you repair PCOS. Yeah? All the fats, come off all the bad fats. Get rid of the bad prostaglandins. The bad prostaglandins is called PGE2. Secondly, diabetics. If you're overweight, you're going to get insulin resistance. So you have to look at your weight. Fat blocking the receptors. If you're eating too much sugars, we find at a certain time of the day, never eat sugars in the morning. The pancreas is not rising in the morning. You don't need no sugars. Not even fruits. You have to retrain your pancreas. See? And you have to feed the pancreas the amount of the sugar that it needs, the natural sugars, that it could go up slow and come down fast. You see what I'm saying? See? But when you bombard the pancreas with all these sugars in the morning time, because it's not rising, your pancreas is not active between 7 and 10. By 10, 10:30, 11 o'clock, your pancreas is not active now. It can receive sugars. But you feed him all the sugars in the morning, lots of sugars in the morning. Big blitzes, a bowl of cereal, 25 grams of sugar. And then at 10 o'clock again, you eat more sugars. And 1 o'clock again, more sugars. 3 o'clock again, more sugars. 6 o'clock, more sugars. And then what happened to your cells is tells you, oh man, Patrick, man, hey, insulin. I can't. There's all these sugars in here, man. Too much sugars in me, the cell. The receptor receives the sugar. Too much sugar, so I'm going to block you out. And insulin said, well, you block me out, what can I do, man? I have to put the sugars in the bloodstream and cause that person to get troubles in the kidney, in their heart, diabetes, lose their nerves, lose their eyes. And that is what they don't teach you. So, coming up this week, I think it's Tuesday or Wednesday, we're going to have a nice program on how to fix your diabetes, if it's insulin resistance or insulin sensitivity, and how to go about and repair your PCOS and help your prolactin levels to normalize by working on the HPA axis, hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenal glands. Go to the website, patrickdells.holistichealing.com, 631-530-2329, or call Ambrosia, 718-469-0985. Have a blessed day. And this herb here is very important, called Baizu. Women who have ER breast cancer get this herb because it blocks the aromatase that increase your estrogen levels. They don't tell you that, they put you on drugs, yeah? Okay? And always have a diabetic machine. Always have a diabetic machine. Always. People should have a diabetic machine if you have diabetes. And always have what? A blood pressure machine. I check every day. Very important. So when we go into Grenada, we have lots of blood pressure machines, and we have lots of diabetic machines to give away for free to my people. I'll be in Grenada soon, and as soon as I get to Grenada, we're going to go to the TV station, and we're going to have people coming in and get the diabetic machines and the blood pressure machine for free. We have to give back to our people. And we have a wheelchair to give away to somebody who's in need. All right? Blessed love to everybody, and have a nice day. God bless everybody. Give thanks.